Hello, this is Jack, and I'm about to make a video on movement technique. Now, this is primarily designed for students who have worked with me, so they've asked that, could we have something so that we can keep a few of these techniques that I show them when they work with me, especially in, of course, eurhythmics, and how to move and how to treat movement with the music. So I'm going to do a few techniques. This is not inclusive by any means, but I think a few basic things that I can show you, and you can learn or at least remember what you've learned from seeing what I do. However, of course, the video is open to anybody, so watch if you wish, and if of course you have questions, don't hesitate to contact me. So I think the first thing I want to talk about mostly is what I do first, actually, is I really talk about how we get to walking, how that happens, and what kinds of things we want to think about when we're walking. The very idea that we take a walk, and there's not going to be music today, I apologize, but I think it's okay because we're just worrying about the technique. I really don't like doing anything without music, but sometimes it's just necessary. So here I am, and I'm going to take a step. Now, I'm walking, of course, but there's a few things that are actually going on physiologically. I am actually walking a little bit lean forward. So why? Well, if I keep my weight just a hair forward, I have an easier time. I don't have to work so hard. I don't have to put my body weight in, take it out, put it in, take it out, put it in, take it out. I'm not doing, and you can see I actually have, each step is divisible by 2 here. So, however, if I step just a little bit, lean just a little bit forward, I have the weight carrying me forward. Now, and when that weight carries me forward, you'll notice that my stepping, when I land, it's on the forefront of the foot. Now, if you work with any physical therapist, they'll tell you that the way we walk today is sort of dangerous, because what we're doing is we're throwing our heel into each step. And this is not good for the legs, the feet, all those things. But if we think about taking the body weight and putting it just a little forward, we land on the forefront of the foot, much safer. Musically speaking, we're going to be more on time. And notice that each step now is sort of a lot more legato. I don't have my head going up and down. Here's the normal. See, and you can see that now here. There we go. Now watch again. This is the more pedestrian way to walk. And here. Now, what we're doing is it's a glide. It's a glide. So this gliding, all right, is very important because it portrays much better a legato sound that you want to hear from this. If I'm playing legato, then I want to see a legato step. Now, the other important part of walking is that people aren't thinking about oftentimes is that where is the step and where's the duration of each step? That's the most important part, is the duration. Okay, so I take a step, and if I just took a step, let me get back a little further. I just took a step and stopped. Now, I'm going to take another step and stop. Take another step and stop. Where is the duration? Now I'll continue one to the other. Watch. Down, 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 down. If I slow down, you see it exaggerate. So what happens here is that there, everybody thinks is where the step is. That's where the beat lies. It's not. That foot landing on the floor there means it's dead. I'm not moving that foot. The foot that's moving is the one that comes from behind. So the step is taken, and you go step, and here we have this leg doing the actual duration. So the step isn't here, it's here. The heel lifts from the floor, creating the ictus that gets us going. 1, 2, I'll slow down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I'm going to lean a little more forward, and you can see that actually that back foot still is in motion. So I go a little faster, and I lean a little further, and I have now my shoulders and upper torso to help me guide. Because my weight is forward, and I'm no longer forward. Pedestrian, Dalcroze. Now, I know there's a big controversy about that the fact that we walk should not be this sort of toe forward, forefoot forward, but more pedestrian, more walking like people do naturally. But you know, this isn't the natural way we walk. If you go back to the Middle Ages, you'll learn that we walked on our forefoot. It's only till once we got to shoes that held us in that we were able to take this heel strike that really is not very healthy for us. But so what the shoemakers do, they build up the heel so that we're not hurting ourselves so much. And so they'll build sneakers and everything that are really packed up with stuff around the heel, stuff around the toe. And then of course, all that stuff inhibits our foot from actually responding to the ground or the floor naturally. And what do I mean by that? Well, we have these 26 bones in our foot that mold itself to the ground, to what you are stepping on. And it can just fill in all the gaps, and so that it gives you the possibility, you see, of actually moving. So, and also keeps your balance for you. So when you're on one foot, here we go, I don't have to worry about this foot because it is working to keep me in line. So if I have one foot on the ground, I go 1, and then I want to come up off that foot. See, I can come up off that foot and be here. And my foot, if you can see it, I hope you can, is down there, and the bones are moving the muscles to maintain my balance. Now, if you can keep it perfectly still without moving them at all, then you have balance. So that foot is built in such a way as to help us keep our balance. But more importantly, the skin is there to tell our brain, oh, I'm okay, I can sense the floor, I feel the floor, and I know my skin is giving me feedback about the duration. And that's really why we wear bare feet. One, to help us keep our balance and posture, and the other one for our skin to work, to give us a sensory idea of where our different, where our 2 feet are. So you can balance, therefore, with these bare feet this way, and then not have to worry about what's going on here, because down there, I'm manipulating my feet are, well, I'm not doing it so much as that it's almost an automatism doing it. They're doing it so that I can stay upright and maintain my balance. And doing that in a shoe is a lot more difficult because the shoe won't allow you to get that adjusted. And you know that even yoga classes, you don't really take yoga classes in tennis shoes. You have to take shoes off because otherwise it's just not going to work for you. So that's a little bit about walking. Now for children, people say, well, you don't go through all this with the teacher. No, not really, I don't. That's true. Usually for children, like kindergarten, first, second, third, I really have them not so much walk as march. And so I work basically getting them to think about their knees, not their foot. Now why? Well, watch. If I stand here perfectly still, I lift one leg off the ground. Notice my foot went, whoop, okay, adjusted. I take one foot off the ground and I lower it slowly. You will see that the front part of the foot lands first. This is a physical therapist's, game I learned from Mademoiselle Naef. You drop and you step. You lift and you step. You lift and you step. Okay, so the forefront of the foot comes first. So if I do this lift, 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 and if I trap, as opposed to when you ask children to walk, they do the famous shuffle. You see? But getting them to lift their knees, and I even will, from the keyboard, I say knees, 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 to get their knees to come up so that the foot, once it hits the floor again, hits it in the right way. The forefoot first to the heel. And so, you don't have a lot of time when you do this to really land on your heel. You say, yum. As soon as I land, this one takes over. See? And that's where the duration is. Ya, dee, da, dee. It's not ya, dee, da, dee. So, different. And this lifting of the knees works for a long time until they're really ready. And if you go slower, perhaps you want to do a slower march. This is harder to do, of course, because of balance. Just like walking slower for children is harder. Anything slower for children is harder. That means because you need more control to go slower. And, by the way, just as a side thought, it takes more energy to go slower because you have to use more muscle mass to keep yourself balanced. So if I have to, so I, you see, so slower is harder. Slower walk, here. Whoa. Now see the foot moving. My skin is feeling the floor. Feeling the floor. And it's telling my brain, everything's okay, you're not going to fall. I know where your foot is, I know where this foot is, and therefore you're safe. So again though, where's the duration? As I travel. So where's the duration? In the movement of the leg and the lifting of the knee. So you get this idea of, from this early on, you get this sense of, okay, the music is going to dum bum dee da dee da 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 bum dun dun da, get you up. And so every beat that you sense is not driven into the floor, it's taken up out of the floor. It pulls away from the floor. In fact, every time you make a gesture, even if we do these great arm beat gestures as we walk now, you know from the days of yore that we do go 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, I say 4, but look, 4. Look what's happening. I'm coming down on 4. Now, I'm going to say 1, but look what's happening. I'm going down, and I go 1. And as soon as I get to the bottom of my gesture, or the cruisic plane, as I call it, we're going down to the cruisic plane, 1. Now, where's the duration? From 1 to 2. From 2 to 3. So again, just like walking, leaving the heel, there's the 1, 2 is the back foot. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And you notice that I have this sort of very stylized way of 1, and it comes up. And notice my posture opens. And then I get to the crossing, and I get open. My shoulders are open and down, low, and I'm looking up, and I'm pulling down. So it's very, I learned these at a young age, and it was very specific how you had to do these. It wasn't just any old way you wanted to do it. It's very specific, and you think, oh, why so specific? Why they're just conducting patterns. They're not conducting patterns. Conducting patterns are something else. These are arm beat patterns. Arm beats are designed to teach us a spatial relationship between between the music and the movement of the beat. So it's a spatial relationship of the beat between the music, because I say 1, and I'm traveling as that is vibrating. 2, I'm traveling as that is vibrating. 3, and 4. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. And so if we do it smaller. Now, Mademoiselle Naef taught if it's a long note value, well, then we come up with the whole body. Then she said, okay, when it's more moderate, then it's just at the elbow. And so then we learn to do them just at the elbow. See, just the elbow, thinking that's the axis, that's the fulcrum. Then, when it goes much faster, we use the wrist. So it was wrist, elbow, shoulder. And so it's very different from the older arm beats where this was, we did those no matter what tempo we were at, which becomes very difficult because it's not really time, space, energy productive. So, but Mademoiselle Naef had us do this, and then, and I still believe Mademoiselle Naef actually made up most of this eurhythmics methodology anyway. I think she's the one who really developed it to go along. So the arm beats then are with as we walk. They travel. Notice here that I'm going at the elbow primarily, and they travel, never stop. They always align, always align, always align, always align. So we bum beat. So we would dum ba da dee dum ba da dee dum bum bee dee dum ba da dee bum ba da dee dum dee be da da dum bum bee ba ba. Okay, so that's arm beats, walking, and you saw when I started to trot, I don't think of it as running, I think of it as more like trotting. I lean even more forward, and this lean is slight. It's just slight. I'm just off my heel. It's not like a whole big deal, because if you have a whole big deal, then you have to catch yourself, which is yet, believe it or not, another technique. So now I'm going to stop, and my next one, we'll talk about how to deal with skipping and getting children to skip and galloping. And what are the differences between these two locomotor movements? So see you next time. Bye-bye.